Well, good afternoon. It's Longhaultanker, straight razor shaving with Longhaultanker. It is July the 16th at approximately 10 minutes past 1 p.m. Eastern Time, and I am in the Love's truck stop at Hubbard, Ohio, near Youngstown. Left this morning, Etna, Ohio. Drove to my delivery point. My scheduled delivery time was 1300, 1 o'clock this afternoon, and it's 10 minutes past now. But I got up there at about 10:45 this morning, checked in, gave them my paperwork, and they told me what I knew was going to happen, and that is it's going to be 3 to 4 days before they can offload me, and told me to go ahead and retreat to a truck stop if I so desired, which I did. You don't want to stay on that location longer than you have to get unloaded and with no amenities. And I had too many years and too many trips to this location where you had to stay on site. Summer, winter, 10, 15, 20 degrees below zero, and all you got is an outhouse, and that is no fun. And I've had to do that too many times, and so waiting on their property is not an option. You know, they'll take your phone number, they'll call you when they're ready for you. They know you're an hour or two away, so they understand all of that. I got some things to say today. Feeling a lot better, not 100%. Got some little congestion going on up in here. But other than that, the way that I was feeling, I'm 1,000% better. I'm using a razor that I just absolutely love. It's Hoffritz. It's got some gold etching there. I believe it says Barber King on there. Hoffritz, made in Germany. It's a very thin razor, and I absolutely love this. I'm going to say some more about this. For our soap, we're continuing to use Martin de Condre Vetyver. Just lovely soap. Absolutely love it. Let's see here. And for our brush, we're using the QEDSELECT Manchurian Silver Tip Badger in faux horn. It is a 24 millimeter knot, and it's just a lovely brush. I'm going to put that back in the water, and I want to show you one more thing that I'm going to show you, and then I'll talk about it. And that is Dan's Whetstone. This is one of my travel stones that I carry with me. It is a 4x2 by ½ inch. Maybe you can see some of the gloss on there. It's a 4x2 by ½ inch travel stone. It is a translucent. If I were to hold a flashlight up to this, the light would shine right through. It's kind of a whitish gray. And we're going to come back to this in just a few moments. I'm going to talk about Arkansas. But I did have an inquiry on the trucking side of things from a regular viewer, and I appreciate it so much. And that is, I got a truck driving buddy that came here and made a delivery at the same location, and they offloaded him or unloaded him day before yesterday, approximately 48 hours ago, maybe a little better. But yeah, so today's Saturday, so that'd be Thursday, early to mid-afternoon, that they unloaded him. And his scheduled delivery appointment was for Monday afternoon. And he arrived on time, and they told him to go retreat to a truck stop, and they would call him when they was ready. And it was 4.5 days later when they called him. And And the comment that came back to me this morning was, "Did you say 4 days?" And I said, "Yeah, I said 4 days." The only correction I made is that he waited 4 days for his appointment? No, he didn't wait 4 days for his appointment. In other words, the way I took that to mean was that he got to his appointment 4 days early. No, that's not what happened. No, he got to his appointment on time, and they made him wait 4.5 days before actually unloading him. And I think most people in any field would call that a gross mismanagement of time. And it is having to wait 4 days. Now, usually what the problem is, I can understand waiting 24 hours, even 48 hours to get unloaded. But usually what the problem is in those kinds of circumstances, and it's the same here, is that the storage tanks, they haven't had enough production run on the chemical to bring down the storage capacity in the storage tanks. And the storage tanks are anywhere from 7 to 10 to 12,000 gallons. And so they've got to have room to put the product in, but you would think that they would know how much production they've got, how much volume of material it's going to take, how long that's going to take, and they would order their product accordingly so that it arrives, say, the day before you run out, instead of 4 days before, so it's who knows how these things, and frankly, I don't care because we still get paid. And it's not bad pay either. When you got there on time and you did what you're supposed to do, and they make you sit and wait, they've got to pay for that. And we get paid, of course. We move from mileage pay when we're not rolling to hourly pay. And then there's a nighttime rate and a daytime rate. And it's really, it can pay quite well. So I got no complaints about that. So we're using the Vetyver, and I said on the last video that I just absolutely love this earthy scent. It's just a lovely scent, and it lathers and creams very nicely. And so I'm dovetailing. I want to move over to the Arkansas stone now, and I want to dovetail off of Lukey 3262 at the Shaded Cadre. And by the way, if you're watching me on YouTube, thank you. Hit like and subscribe. Leave a comment if you so desire. And then go on over to the Shaving Cadre, check them out, and make an account, join the conversation, and participate at whatever level you want to. And anyway, in his most recent video, as of last night, he got to talking about natural stones and Arkansas in particular, and I just want to dovetail off of that because I use Arkansas a lot. I love the Arkansas, and I have the soft, I have what's called the hard, I have a black hard, I have a translucent, that one's in Norton, the others are in Dan Whetstone. I have a what's called a true hard from Dan's Whetstone, 8x3x1, all the others are 8x3x1/2. And then I have two travel stones, a hard black, commonly called surgical black, and the translucent. And so first thing I want to address as I get going here is a couple of misconceptions. Oh, by the way, so about 3 or 4 shaves ago, I used this razor and it was a little tuggy. And so last night, when I'm watching movies in the truck at night, I pulled out the translucent travel stone and went on it for about 45 minutes. And we're going to see how it does here. That's absolutely wonderful. Absolutely wonderful. And so I don't have to follow that up with anything. So misconception number one is that buying a natural stone is a hit and miss proposition. You never know how they're going to perform. And I can't speak to, and I've heard this ever since I got involved with straight razor shaving 7 years ago. And my focus at the beginning my focus at the beginning was learning how to use the Norton 4.8, and then as I was purchasing shaft and glass stones, learning how to use them. So for about the first year or so, that's what I was focused on. Now let me say this too, to add into the mix of the conversation, and that is that the Norton, my Norton translucent, or said another way, the Arkansas translucent, the Arkansas hard black or surgical black, and the true hard are all true finishing stones. And if they're working correctly, if they're of good quality, they are finishing stones. Now, I've heard this statement made that natural stones are a crapshoot when you go to buy one. They don't all finish the same way, and there may be just a minuscule modicum of truth to that. But I've heard this in reference mostly to cauticles, and I don't know that it's true, but I've heard it said that you can buy a caudicle and it won't be a finisher, it'll be a dud. And true or not, I've got 2 cauticles, 8x3x1, bought from different places at different times, and both of them work very well. And so I've got, again, it's hard for me to judge the comment that not all cauticles are good. I don't know. And of course, the thing about the vein names, I'm not even going to go into that. But Arkansas are different. Arkansas are made of, naturally, of navacolite, which is a form of silicon and to meet the different levels, like a soft Arkansas or a hard Arkansas or a true hard Arkansas or a hard black Arkansas or a translucent Arkansas, it has to meet a particular USGS grade, 2.5 plus or more. The information I'm reciting to you right now comes directly from Dan's Whetstone's website. It's easily readable and understandable, and so there's nothing unique or hidden or special that I'm saying about all this. And so it has to meet a certain level. All of the true hard, the hard black, surgical black, and the translucent have to meet a minimum of 2.5 plus on the USGS scale. And you can't say anything more without doing your own testing. I said, well, mine's a 2.6, mine's a 2.7, mine's a 2.8. Okay, yippee yahoo. Now, and so there's a whole lot of consistency in the Arkansas stones, whereas there might not be in other kinds of stones. I don't know, I'm not going to say. Conical, Eschers, other natural stones that people use. All right. Now, a few years ago, I had the good fortune and pleasure of going going to Dan's Whetstone, located in Hot Springs, Arkansas, and I met the founder, Dan Kirschman. I met his son, Steve Kirschman. He, along with another lady, gave me a full tour of the facility, which was lovely and nice. And by then, I'd already begun to learn a little bit about the Arkansas and some of the comments that I wanted to inquire about, and particularly this next area. And this keeps popping up every once in a while, and there's not much I can do about it except make comment on it when I hear it. And that is the alleged difference between the translucent and the surgical black. Now, and I will say too here that Dan's Whetstone doesn't help themselves from their website when they say of the hard black, commonly called surgical black, that they use the expression ultra fine, and on the translucent, I believe it could be vice versa, they use the expression extra fine. So, oh, one's better than the other. One's extra fine and one is ultra fine. Nonsense. So in my conversation with Steve Kirschman, the son, who's 50-some years old, you know, he's not exactly a, well, let's just say that he's a chip off the old father block. He's a good man to have a conversation with. And we got into this on several different levels. Now, they're not particularly interested in straight razor shavers. They're not particularly concerned about how their product relates to straight razor shaving. Oh, yes, they know there's an interest, and yes, they know that it is a good and suitable product for the honing of straight razors, but that's not their primary concern by far in the production of Arkansas whetstones. Oh, it's just lovely. That's just great. They have commercial and other industrial interests in the production of these stones. let me say this too, that for us straight razor shavers, honers that buy these Arkansas stones, the true hard, the hard black, and the translucent, I will remind us all that we're encouraged and we actually practice going to extraordinary lengths to polish the stone for finishing use on straight razor honing. And how we finish a stone will have a great deal to do with how good a finisher it actually is. And so, you know, if you take it to 1,000 or 2,000 or 3,000 grit wet dry sandpaper, or whether you take it to a buffing wheel and put the what is it I'm trying to say? The green, the red, the white paste on it, you know, and spend the time buffing it that way and polishing it. That's going to have an impact on how good a finisher it is. And so that's why it's difficult when someone says, well, it's a hit and miss job. You don't know how it's finished. There's too many variables involved that have nothing to do with the manufacture of the stone or the natural organic composition of the stone, and whether or not it's going to be a good finisher. So mostly it's end user action that will have a lot to do with how good a finisher actually is. Anyway, back to the other idea of the difference between the hard black and the translucent, or the true hard for that matter, is in my conversations with Steve Kirschman. Once you take those factors into consideration about how good a job a person polishes the stone for the purposes that he's going to use it, there's no practical difference between the hard black, surgical black, true hard, or the translucent. No practical difference whatsoever. So people sometimes like to make a big deal about, well, the translucent's better than the hard black, or the hard black is better than the translucent. Most people don't even know about the true hard, which is a gem of a stone, has the same GS rating as the others, and for about 2/3 the price. And let me say this too, and throw it into the mix of the conversation. And that is, if you want to be a true expert on the Arkansas stone, you need to watch Keith V. Johnson. Keith V. as in Victor Johnson. He's got a series of videos. He's primarily known as the JNAT guy on YouTube, but you need to watch him. He goes into the crystalline structure. He goes into the soft Arkansas, what's called the hard Arkansas, which is a medium grade stone, and then all of the 2.5 plus. He doesn't talk about the true hard. He either doesn't know about it or he discounts it, and I don't know which. But then he'll talk about the surgical black and the translucent at some great detail, and he'll give examples on honing, and he's really quite he's really quite good at explaining scientific and practical aspects of the Arkansas stone. And so I have no hesitation in saying that these offhand comments and generalized blanket statements that are made about natural stones, it's a hit and miss proposition. Probably not the best thing to say about Arkansas, because it's just not true. What is true about Arkansas stones is that all of the finishing stones, the true hard, the hard black, and the translucent, are all 2.5 plus rated on the GS scale. And if they are that, they are finishing stones, and they will finish a razor to very good quality finishing. And with my own experience has been with the two travel stones and the three big ones I've got, is that they're as consistent between each other as can be, with proper finishing and polishing. And I was reading on the shaving cadre before I came in. Apparently Lukey 3262's got a thread titled "What Are You Honing Today?" and he's talking about Arkansas in there, and pretty much makes the same point, in the sense that depending upon what you want to use the stone for might determine how high polished you actually take the stone. Whether you take it to a 500 finish, 500 grit finish, or whether you take it to a 3,000 grit finish, whatever. And you can certainly tell by my shave today in the refresh that I did on this razor last night with the translucent, Dan's Whetstone translucent 4x2, that I'm getting a top quality shave. And what, how could you ask for more? I could stop right there and be done. So this is one of the reasons, I enjoy talking about the Arkansas stone. I enjoy using the Arkansas stone. It's just fantastic finisher for me. And so, now let me just go back up a little bit and talk about my general progression and where I started. I've got the soft and I've got the what they call the hard Arkansas, which is a medium grade stone. I don't use those to set the bevel. Maybe I should just spend more time learning to do it. I don't know. But I find using the shaft and glass stone progression, I've got now the stones I've got, shaft and glass stones, 500, 1,000, 2,000, 4,000, 4,000, 8,000. I've got the 16,000, which I've made recent comment on and what Dr. Matt has to say about the 16,000 and the 30,000. I have the 30,000 and I think it's a fine, excellent, super duper finisher. So when I'm honing a razor and I want to set the bevel, I'll go to the 1,000, maybe the 2,000 and work my way up to 8,000. And if I'm going to jump to natural stones, when I have finished with the 8,000, that's where I jump, either to the conical or to the Arkansas stones. And sometimes I have the battle within my own mind. Am I going to do a true hard? Am I going to do a hard black? Am I going to do a translucent finish, Or if I'm going to do the a conical finish, am I going to use my which one? Because I got two, I call them A and B. Am I going to use A or am I going to use B? A and B. So that's kind of pretty much what I wanted to say, but Matt's video last night it got me to thinking on some of these things, and so I appreciate his springboard to get me here because I like talking about these things anyway. So like I was saying, I expect to be here for about 3 or 4 days. The earliest I might expect to get a phone call would be Tuesday. So I'll have a nice weekend relaxing and napping and catching up on some, I say catching up, getting some sleep. I've had a pretty hard couple of weeks being sick, you know, so getting a little rest and eating well with my wife's cooking that I have in the truck. If you have any questions or comments you'd like to make about what I've said about the Arkansas, drop them in the comment section. I'll be happy to read them and will probably reply because I like talking about these. Always be courteous and polite. I know there are a lot of people on the internet, on YouTube, who do use the Arkansas, but I've never seen anybody explain things as well, even as well as Keith Johnson. And Jared at the Superior Shave, he likes to use the Arkansas. He's doing a lot with the convexing with the Arkansas. But he doesn't, he doesn't explain about the Arkansas, the Vacalite and, the GS ratings. He doesn't talk about that kind of stuff. All right, let's wash off the lather and see how good a job we did. Had a good hot shower before the shave today. Had about 48 hours approximately of growth on the face. And this will probably not be my last shave here by any means. If I'm here for 3 or 4 days before I get the call come Monday morning, I'll probably be in here again. Okay, there we are. There we have it. We used, for our razor, we used the Hoffritz, made in Germany. Barber's King, nicely etched on the face of the blade. This is a 5/8, by the way. Very thin, very narrow razor. I just love this brand. It's the only one I've got. I think I might get another couple of them for our soap this afternoon. We used the Martin de Condé Vetyver. Lovely scent. Let's go ahead. No, I'm going to do that later, but I am going to use the Ozma Allen block a little bit later. Okay, I think that's it. Oh, the brush. We use the QEDSELECT Manchurian Silver Tip Badger. Just a lovely brush. This is a 24 millimeter faux horn. It's a bit of a small handle. His other models that he has in the 26 and the 28 millimeter the handles are more suitable in my opinion. Oh yeah, that's just lovely, just lovely. All right, so thank you for joining me, and we will see you down the road or here on Monday morning sometime. Talk to you later. Bye.